All right, ready to go a few rounds with this one. We're taking a deep dive into the one and only Iron Mike Tyson.
This will be good.
Yeah, going deep into the Wikipedia archives for this one. And let me tell you, Tyson's story, it's way more than just knockouts and those championship belts.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about how this kid from, well, one of the toughest neighborhoods in Brooklyn, how he became this global icon, for better or worse.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's really a fascinating study in contradictions. You've got this kid growing up in Brownsville, getting into trouble constantly.
Constantly.
We're talking like 38 arrests before he even hit his teens.
38.
38 arrests. It's a recipe for, well, a rough life, let alone a whole boxing career, right?
You'd think someone with that background would just bring pure, uncontrolled aggression into the ring.
Yeah. See, that's what's interesting. While Tyson definitely had that raw intensity, he also had this surprising technical brilliance, which I think often gets overlooked.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. His peekaboo style, which he learned from his legendary trainer, Cus D'Amato, it was all about using his movement and these unorthodox angles just to create openings for those devastating punches.
So it wasn't just about brute force. There was real strategy behind all that power.
Absolutely. And you can't underestimate the influence of Cus D'Amato. She saw something really special in young Tyson, you know? Became a mentor, almost like a father figure to him, especially after Tyson's mother passed away when he was only 16.
16, wow.
Imagine the impact of that kind of loss at such a young age, especially for someone who already had a pretty chaotic upbringing.
It's heartbreaking. And you could really hear the pain in Tyson's own words. He once said, quote, "I never saw my mother happy with me and proud of me for doing something." It makes you think about how much that must have driven him.
Yeah. D'Amato, he provided that stability, that guidance, and he really channeled Tyson's raw talent into this force of nature in the ring.
And we're talking 19 straight wins by knockout to start his career.
And 12 of those were in the first round.
Youngest heavyweight champion ever at just 20 years old.
It's incredible.
That kind of meteoric rise to fame, it's got to be overwhelming, even for someone as tough as Mike Tyson.
And, you know, it's important to remember that under that whole baddest man on the planet persona, Tyson was still a young man, navigating a world of, well, unimaginable fame and pressure. He even cited Sonny Liston, you know, the boxer known for that intimidating presence, as an inspiration.
Really?
Yeah. Makes you wonder if he felt like he had to project that same kind of image, you know, almost to survive.
And it worked. He wasn't just winning fights. He was captivating the entire world. Remember Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
Oh, class.
On Nintendo? I mean, that's how you know you've made it big. When you're a video game icon.
That's it. That's the mark.
That's when Tyson Mania was at its peak, right?
Oh, yeah. But as his fame grew, these cracks started appearing in his personal life, you know? The very public, very tumultuous marriage to Robin Givens, the legal battles over his contracts, and then the split with his trainer, Kevin Rooney, it just seemed like everything around him was unraveling.
And that brings us to 1990, Tokyo.
James Buster Douglas.
A fight that shocked the world. Tyson was a 42-1 favorite going into that fight.
Yeah, I mean...
Nobody, and I mean nobody, expected Buster Douglas to win.
It's really, you know, a testament to how unpredictable boxing can be, right?
Right.
But looking back, it's almost as if those cracks in Tyson's personal life, well, they were starting to show in the ring too.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't the same fighter without that solid foundation D'Amato had built, you know?
Yeah.
Makes you think about, like, the importance of those mentor figures, you know? Those anchors you have in your life, especially when the world around you feels like it's spinning out of control.
It's a lot to handle. Even for someone who seemed so invincible at the time. And, as we know, things were about to get even tougher for Tyson.
Yeah.
Outside the ring, I mean.
Yeah. The 1992 conviction.
Yeah.
The prison sentence. It's a period we can't shy away from, you know? It would be easy to just gloss over it.
Right.
But it's important to acknowledge, I think, just the gravity of the situation.
Absolutely. This wasn't just like a bump in the road. This was a life-altering event for him.
Right.
And it's during this time that Tyson converts to Islam. And what I find striking is that he also gets these very deliberate tattoos. Arthur Ashe, Mao Zedong. Yeah. It makes you wonder, like, what did those figures represent to him during that time?
Yeah, you're right. It's like he was seeking inspiration from individuals who, well, in their own ways, they challenged expectations and overcame adversity. Arthur Ashe, you've got this tennis legend battling social injustice, and then Mao Zedong, this revolutionary leader who, reshaped China.
Yeah.
These weren't just random choices, right? They were symbolic of, I think, the internal struggles that Tyson was facing at the time.
Yeah.
His search for identity and meaning in a world that had completely turned upside down for him.
Yeah. It's a side of him we rarely get to see, the introspective side.
Yeah.
A man searching for answers.
Absolutely. And that search continues when he's released from prison. He jumps back into the ring, faces Peter McNeely, then Buster Mathis Jr., knocks them both out pretty handily. But even with those victories, the critics, they were quick to point out that, well, these weren't exactly top-tier opponents.
They call them tomato cans, right?
Yeah.
Just set up for Tyson to steamroll and rebuild his image a little bit.
There's always that debate in boxing, right?
Yeah.
Were the opponents carefully selected to kind of manufacture a comeback narrative?
Yeah.
But regardless, Tyson was back in the spotlight, reclaiming his place as this, global icon, even if it was a more complicated image than before.
For sure. He wins the WBC title from Frank Bruno, their second go-around, and then beats Bruce Seldon for the WBA belt.
Right.
But the Seldon fight, that one in particular was controversial. People were saying Seldon went down way too easily, almost like the fight was rigged.
Yeah. There were accusations, whispers of something fishy going on.
Right.
We can't know for sure. But it definitely added to the intrigue and really set the stage for what would become, one of the most infamous events in boxing history.
Tyson versus Holyfield.
Tyson versus Holyfield.
Evander Holyfield,
Yeah.
a fighter many had dismissed, said his best days were behind him.
Right.
But in 1996, he does the unthinkable. Defeats Mike Tyson.
And not just a win. This was a TKO in the 11th round.
Nobody saw that coming.
Nobody.
And Tyson's camp, they weren't happy. They claimed Holyfield was using illegal headbutts, that the fight wasn't fair.
Right. It became this huge controversy, and it all led up into the rematch.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the tension was off the charts. The whole world was watching, and then
The bite.
the bite.
The bite heard around the world.
It was surreal, shocking. Tyson, just in a moment of, just pure frustration, he bites Holyfield, not once, but twice during the fight.
Twice.
He actually bites a piece of his ear off.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
No.
And the aftermath, the crowd, the commentators, everyone's just in disbelief. It was like something out of a movie.
Oh, chaos.
Chaos erupts, the fight stopped, Tyson's disqualified, and of course his boxing license is revoked.
And just like that, Iron Mike becomes the ear biter.
It was a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
It really cemented this image of Tyson as a man who just couldn't control his demons,
A man teetering on the edge.
Completely.
You also have to remember the context of all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the highest earning fight in history at that point. Tyson was set to make $30 million.
It's unbelievable.
The stakes couldn't have been higher, and neither could the fall from grace. That image of Tyson, biting Holyfield's ear, it really became like this defining moment,
Absolutely.
It's really hard to think of a more shocking or controversial event in boxing history.
Yeah, and it really overshadowed so much of what came before it, both the good and the bad. It's like people forgot about the incredible athlete he was,
Right.
the strategic fighter, the kid who overcame so much adversity to become a champion.
Yeah.
He was reduced to this caricature,
Yeah.
the ear biter.
Yeah.
And it followed him everywhere.
He did try to come back though, right? He had some wins after that.
He did. Fights against Francois Botha, Andrew Galata, even Brian Nielsen, all wins for Tyson.
Okay.
But the controversy, it never really went away. There were accusations of biting again in the Galata fight.
Oh, no kidding.
And then that brutal knockout loss to Lennox Lewis in 2002, it seemed to really signal the end of an era,
Yeah. That Lewis fight was still a massive event though. The highest grossing pay-per-view event of all time at that point.
It's incredible.
It just shows you the enduring power of Mike Tyson.
Oh, for sure.
Even with all the baggage,
Yeah.
people were still captivated by him.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? That fame, that notoriety, it can be both a blessing and a curse.
Totally.
And unfortunately for Tyson, it seemed like the curse was catching up with him. Despite earning, hundreds of millions of dollars throughout his career, he ends up declaring bankruptcy in 2003.
Wow. It's a cautionary tale for sure.
Absolutely.
The dangers of fame, fortune, and I guess the people you surround yourself
You
with.
got it.
He officially retires from boxing in 2005 after a loss to Kevin McBride.
Yeah.
And that's when we see this fascinating shift in Tyson's journey. He's no longer trying to be Iron Mike. He's exploring different avenues, almost like he's trying to figure out, I don't know, who Mike Tyson is outside the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he does it all. Exhibition bouts, a one-man show on Broadway, even voice acting in a cartoon.
Mike Tyson mysteries.
Mike Tyson mysteries. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up. It's like he's trying on all these different hats just to see what fits.
Exactly. And it's not just about like entertainment or making money. You hear it in his interviews and his podcast Hotboxing with Mike Tyson. He's reflecting on his past, you know?
Yeah.
His mistakes, his regrets. He's trying to find peace, to make amends, to use his platform for something positive.
It's a long way from Brownsville, that's for sure.
Yeah, got that right.
But it makes you think about redemption. You know, like, can someone with a past as complicated as Mike Tyson's, can they ever truly outrun it?
It's the question, isn't it?
Yeah. Can he rewrite his own story?
That's the question, and there's no easy answer. Mike Tyson's story, it's this complex tapestry of triumph and tragedy, brilliance and brutality. He's a walking contradiction. Yeah.
He's a reminder that, well, we're all capable of both great and terrible things, aren't we?
That's a lot to unpack. So where does that leave us? How should we remember Mike Tyson? The champion, the convicted criminal, the entertainer, the man seeking redemption.
I think it's up to each of us to decide. His story, it challenges us to look beyond the headlines, beyond the caricatures, and to grapple with the complexities of the human experience. Mike Tyson, for all his flaws and contradictions, he forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about ourselves, about fame, about forgiveness, and ultimately about what it means to be human.
That's quite a legacy. And for you listening, we leave you with this. What do you think? Can someone like Mike Tyson ever truly outrun their past? Or are we forever defined by our actions? Let us know your thoughts. Until next time, keep diving deep.